Okay, I don't really see anything in the Discord streams. Okay, so welcome to everybody who has joined us. We are 5 minutes into the session. Think we could, I'm not sure if we are already streaming, but this would be a good time to start the stream in case you want to record it. Okay, it does say that it's live on a custom streaming service, so I assume that that's okay. All right, so for those of you who joined us a little after 7, just curious about how many of you participated in the contest yesterday. So you could let me know in the chat or unmute yourself or raise your hand on Zoom, anything works. So Ayush has already mentioned that he participated. Hey, Melvin, Manoj, that's great to know. NPTEL, okay. Sorry, I don't know your name, but okay, great to know that you participated. Dr. Prasad, very nice. That's very cool. Ritu, Bhavya, what about you all? Did you have a chance to join us for the contest yesterday? So this contest was more of a sort of an experiment. We just wanted to pilot it and see if that would be helpful and if there was enough interest. And since it looks like it seems to be a good idea, so thanks to all of you for taking the time to participate. And it looks like we have positive vibes on Discord as well. So we'll probably plan another contest for sure, at least another one around the end of the course. So most probably what we will do is try to see if we can partner with one of the regular code chef contests, particularly the starter contests. So is anybody not eligible for being rated in a starter contest? Like if you're already in Div 2, I think the starter contests will not be rated for you. But our plan is to basically coordinate with the organizers of a starter contest and see if we can say that the top so many people who are participating from the NPTEL course will be eligible for some goodies, maybe t-shirts, maybe we can arrange for something else as well. So that is currently the plan. And we'll see if we can, there's probably going to be, okay, so I shouldn't say probably, we're certainly planning for one more contest at the end of the course, and we'll see if we'll see if we want to do one more sometime later or sometime in between, right? So in terms of where we are with the course, we are kind of in the middle of our exploration of graph algorithms. And I know that this topic for many people is like a bit new, and sometimes it can also be a bit scary to work with because it's kind of an abstract concept, and just being able to code and work with graph data structures may feel like like what's going on. So I hope that at least at this point, the 3 different graph representations are all comfortable. And I know that it may have been a bit of a challenge if you're not doing C++, because all the official snippets in the repository are in C++, but we are borrowing very heavily from, the CP book. So if you go to their repository, you will find Java, Python, and even OCaml codes, I think. So they have the same code in these 3 or 4 different languages. So that's essentially the foundation of everything that we are doing. So the crux of all these algorithms, right, whether it is just simple representations or BFS, DFS, Dijkstra, Bellman-Ford, Floyd-Warshall, Prem, Kruskal, all of these algorithms, they're all coded in all of these 3 or 4 different languages in the CP book repository. So, so I have borrowed very heavily from there for the C++ codes. And in fact, I think I have more or less left their original code untouched. I think there's only 1 or 2 places where I may have made a modification. Like, for example, I think, I don't remember if it was maybe for Kruskal's algorithm or something where so C++, the default priority queue is like, I think it's a heap. Sorry, it's a max heap. So for what they do is, so for Prim's algorithm, right? So you need the minimum weight edge at every step. So instead of a max heap, you need a min heap. So what they do is they multiply all the weights by -1. But instead, what you can do is you can pass a parameter to the initialization so that it's initialized as a min heap rather than a max heap. And they only do this in some of their other programs. So just to keep it consistent, so you might find very minor differences like that, but otherwise, it's really based on how they have structured the programs. And on top of that, I think all that I do is just connect these programs to the problem that we are solving. And that part, I think, even if we don't have it in the official repository, let's say in Python, I think it's a very good exercise to try and do it yourself. I think it's very doable. That part of it, if you hopefully listen to the videos and have the C++ code for reference, then doing it in Python should not be difficult at all. But if you're stuck with anything, please post in Discord or the Google mailing lists, and somebody, either me or somebody from the TA team or Arjun, one of us will take a look. Okay, so yeah, exactly. So this greater, so that's the parameter that you need to pass. So what I'm saying is that if you were trying to compare the code that I have put in the repository for our course and the repository in the for the CP book, then when you compare, you may find small differences like this. I think that's all that I was trying to say. Hey Ritu, how many top performers will be awarded the prize? So I think we've had more than 20 people with a perfect score. I don't know how many of them. So we did not announce this contest to anybody else, and the link was not available. The link was also not available on the CodeChef website. But now we're thinking that maybe not every, so I'm not sure. It's possible that maybe some people who got the course announcement may have shared it with their friends. We did not say don't share it with anybody, right? So it's possible that other people have also participated. So to be eligible for the prize, you still have to be a participant in this course. So you are right. The person with the username NPTEL. Again, sorry, I don't know your name, but you're right. We did not ask for the CodeChef username. So to be able to tally, I think we will be sending out, you can watch out for an email which asks for your CodeChef usernames. I think you have to fill it out by Monday noon or something like this. And once we have that data, and we also have run the plagiarism checks, which is a standard procedure that CodeChef follows. Once all of that is done, then we will have a list. And I'm really not sure about how many. We did not announce a fixed number because we thought we will let it depend on the participation, and basically see how the performances are. And we may not even just do like a top X many participants. We may try and see if we want to do um, some other sorts of things, like based on if somebody is very new to the platform and they've done well or something like that. So we're just brainstorming how to decide this, but there will definitely be more than one prize, because I think somebody asked who is the t-shirt winner. So I think we do have more than one t-shirt in stock, so there should be multiple prizes, but the details I think will be announced by early next week sometime. There are a few different things that will have to come together for finalizing the shortlist. So don't want to commit to an exact date and time, but definitely by before the middle of next week, we should have the announcement. Bhavya, okay, I'll just take Melvin's question first because it's easier. The next contest will probably be one of the starter contests in November. So the course gets over by mid or late October, and we want you to also finish off your NPTEL exams so that you can be relaxed and just focus on the contest. So it'll probably be a starter contest in November that we will be partnering with. And, we'll just try to say that there's a special incentive for all of you coming in from this course. Also, the other constraint is that we want to make sure that you can attempt all of the questions based on what you have learned in the course. So by default, we have tried to cover in this course all the topics that you will need for. You should definitely be comfortable with all questions in a starter contest, but there are some topics that we have not covered, like can think of things like range minimum queries, segment trees, and so on. So we may have to coordinate a little bit with the organizers to see that such questions, that the questions come from our syllabus. So that's why it's not like 100% pakka, but it'll be one of the starter contests in November or latest December. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. Ritu, part 2 meaning, do you mean running the same course again on NPTEL, or do you mean advanced topics in CP? Or more topics in CP? Let me not say advanced, but there are many topics that got left out from this course. So do you mean that will there be another course that covers those topics as well? Right, okay, advanced or additional topics. Okay, so I would love to do it. I think I definitely was miserable when I had to, leave out certain topics from this course because, I just want to do everything, but we only have 12 weeks. So there's only so many things that we can do. So, okay, let me quickly answer that. Week 7 has only one assignment. So I got delayed in releasing the material. So I just thought that it would be good to, so I don't think you have the same amount of time as you do for a normal assignment. So we thought we'll just make it one assignment. So there's only one for week 7. And week 8 and 9, it's on a combined topic. So we're just going to release all the materials together. I think even in terms of the videos, I think the total length of the videos is like 3 or 3.5 hours. Is less than 2 normal weeks put together. And the assignments will also have like 2 questions altogether. So hopefully, you'll have enough time to try everything out. So, thank you, Ritu. I'm so glad that you like this course. Yeah, that is true. Some courses do have a follow-up. And as I said, I'd love to do it. There are definitely lots of topics that I think would be really nice to cover in this way. So it is, I'll say that it's something that's on my mind, but so normally we'd have to sort of pitch this to NPTEL, and I don't know what their process is, and maybe it depends on the interest and so on. But yeah, I would say it's not ruled out, and might also just do some one-off videos here and there and just add it as supplementary material to this course, or just put it up on the course website as an intermediate thing. And I'll let you know if that happens. But yeah, it's definitely something we are considering. So we may run a survey at the end of the course asking you all if you would be interested in doing a part 2. So please say yes. And then, hopefully that will happen. How many people are actively doing this course? I don't, okay, I think, okay, so you can see from the course webpage that the number of enrollments is over 12,000, but the number of people who have joined us on Discord is like 2,500 or so. And I think the number of people who are actively participating on Discord is probably less than 100, but I think a lot more people are still participating in the course without necessarily being active on Discord or the mailing list. So I think the number of assignments that have been submitted, I do have to check to be sure about the numbers. But yeah, it's probably roughly around like the number of people who have signed up on Discord. It may not be the same people, but I think the order of magnitude was something like that. That's the last that I remember. I could be a bit wrong, and yeah, so don't quote me on this, but that is my recollection. So going back to this question of the roadmap, so fresher and an intermediate person. So I would imagine that if you're a fresher, and I'm assuming that you've just learned how to code in some programming language, and probably you don't have a background in algorithms, then the roadmap would focus a lot more on just learning these algorithms. And maybe in the meantime, just to get your confidence up and keep practicing, I just recommend doing a lot of ad hoc problems just to be in that zone and just to keep practicing. And just learn new techniques as you go along. But definitely doing like foundational algorithms would be a priority on the roadmap for somebody who is just starting out, because you absolutely need that, like data structures and algorithms. I mean, it doesn't have to be formal training. You don't have to be like, in college or in a CS, like get a CS, like do it with in the context of a CS degree. So I don't mean formal training, but just learning algorithms and data structures would be kind of, I think, crucial for somebody who's starting out. But somebody who's intermediate would probably already have a foundation in these things. So, and you probably already know what are your weak points and what are your points of comfort. So I would sort of if it was a customized roadmap, then it would be basically encouraging them to probably strengthen their weak points. So I know many of us have like um, probably this is a matter of taste, where we might have an aversion to a particular kind of problems. Some people will say like, oh, if it's a number theory problem, it just gets blocked out. I don't want to do it. Or if it's a computational geometry problem, then it's not my cup of tea, and so on. So it depends on what your goals are. But if you want to like, so if you just want to have some fun and learn some algorithms and be comfortable with like, use this as an excuse to practice a lot of coding and just enjoy the process, I would say you have the luxury to pick and choose like the topics that you want to dig deeper into and that you want to learn more about. But if you really want to, like, you have a goal, like you want to do well in like Code Jam or ICPC or something, then I think it's good to probably strengthen your weak points as well. So in that sense, you by the time you're intermediate, you probably know where you need to practice more and things like that. So it would be a little bit of function of that. But also just expanding, your known techniques, the set of techniques that, just learning more things, I think is also a helpful thing to do. So, yeah, so you can get a customized roadmap if a pro CP programmer reviews your coding profile. That's probably true. I'm not really a part of the scene so much that I would know if that's something that you can do, but I'm sure you can consult with people who are really into this, and they can tell you what the pain points are, what you should improve on, and things like that. Um, is there a series of 4 courses as its complete name tells? That complete name was, I think, if you're referring to the one that said algorithmic puzzles and other things, yeah, those were names that I was internally brainstorming for the course. And I'm not sure how, at some point, I think I must have put it in some file. And so I think that's what went out as the name of the course. So yeah, those were not 4 separate courses. Those were just names that we were thinking of for this course. But yes, we definitely, I think it would be nice to, so there are at least 2 more sets of topics that can be easily covered in terms of, I'd say, intermediate topics. These are topics like, let's say, more advanced techniques in dynamic programming or graph algorithms, or things like segment trees, more on the data structures side, Fenwick trees and things like that. I think all of that would be really interesting to do, square root decompositions and so on, but also really dive into like specific themes which involve not, I mean, also programming, but also some domain knowledge of some particular context, like as we were saying, number theory, string algorithms, computational geometry. So all of those would be like interesting topics to take up in like a future edition of this course. So as I said, it's really interesting to see that, or it's really nice to see that there is interest. I'm interested too. It's just a matter of, again, um, a matter of having the bandwidth and uh, the logistics working out. So I know a lot of people couldn't take this course this time because they were waiting to finish the algorithms course. So there's also interest in doing this course from some people in January. So I want to also focus a little bit on making sure that that happens and that goes well. So we'll have to see when exactly we can do part 2. Um, I will not be covering TSP and Chinese postman. Is that the one? I'm not sure, but yeah, we will. Yeah, that's another like really interesting set of topics, like problems that have exponential time algorithms plus heuristics. There's also things like interactive judges and sometimes problems. So on, especially on Google Code Jam, I see this a lot where they say that you're allowed to be wrong like 10% of the time. So they're looking for a randomized algorithm, or um, you're allowed to give an approximate solution. It'll be some NP-complete problem like traveling salesman. So all of those are like really interesting variations, and the things that I really enjoy thinking about, but we will not be, it's a little out of scope for a beginner's course, I would say. I think already some of the feedback that we are getting every week is that this is, the topics are a little bit tough and maybe I should be going slower. So these topics I think are, yeah, would be maybe a bit too much, but yeah, maybe in a follow-up course, this would be a good thing to do. Yeah. Cool. All right. So are there, so again, hopefully, yeah, I think the roadmap question I answered. Courtship usernames, we will send an announcement around so that we can collect your courtship usernames. All right, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. If you have any more comments, feedback, questions, please let me know. But otherwise, maybe you'd like to join us back on Monday. I'll let you know what the exact time is, but tentatively Monday, 7 p.m. We'll meet again to discuss the contest problems as well as hints for the MSD assignment and solutions for short response. Yeah. A-star and search algorithms. So I think the only kind of search and traversals that we did were BFS, DFS, and the binary and ternary searching that we did in the beginning of the course. But yeah, no, I don't expect to cover A-star. No, not really. It's the sort of thing that comes up on Kaggle a lot. It's possible that there are some other courses on NPTEL that cover this nicely. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll find out and I'll let you know next time. Okay. It's a good question, Ayush. I don't know. I mean, hopefully increased confidence when you're coding. That's one of my main goals, at least, to make you feel like you can go into this and you can, at least give most problems a solid attempt. Um, I don't know if I want to quantify improvements in terms of ratings and such, because that would be like very different for different people. But I would say on average in general, I think being able to go one or two jumps higher, especially if you're just starting out, then I think getting to 2 or 3 ratings higher. And if you're like already midway there, then hopefully based on the practice that this course forces you to do, hopefully you'll be able to earn yourself one jump higher in the sort of CP ladder. But beyond that, generally speaking, I would say hopefully just a lot of comfort with implementing algorithms that you see otherwise mostly in pseudocode, and like you've probably done a lot of theory-based algorithms courses. So hopefully this gives you the confidence that now even if I see a new algorithm, I should be able to implement it, and hopefully coming up with ideas for your own algorithms, being a good problem solver. I think just having just seeing that this is fun and getting some confidence for this sort of activity. I'm hoping that that's what's happening. Yeah. I'm not sure what is the updated syllabus. So yeah, Ayush, I hope that addresses your question, and I hope that's already happening. To some extent by now, you should already be sensing that you're comfortable, increasingly comfortable with coding. If you already were, then I think the hope is that this course just exposes you to a lot more practice and makes you even better at what you were already doing. But for those who are especially starting out, my hope is that they just get to a point where they feel like they can learn more and tackle things on their own, basically. Updated syllabus, I don't think we're changing anything in the originally proposed syllabus. The only thing is, if you're referring to the materials that are pending, yes, I think week 8 and 9 will be released together over this weekend. And weeks 10, 11, and 12 will happen after that, and they will all be based on dynamic programming. So we will be wrapping up with graph algorithms once we are done with weeks 8 and 9. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so I don't see any new questions in the chat. So last chance, anyone. But it's not obviously a last chance. We can just continue this conversation on Discord or when we meet next week. So yeah, I think if there isn't anything specific, I'll just once again like to thank all of you for joining us, especially on a Saturday evening. I think that's really nice. And it's great to know that there is some interest in a follow-up course. So definitely think about that and let you know if something gets worked out next year. Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, all right, everybody. So thanks again for joining. We'll see you back soon. Good night for now. Bye.